What's up, G.I. Joe fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Museum. I'll be your curator today. And guys, we have another cool G.I. Joe offering for you today. All the way from 2003, we bring you the G.I. Joe Army Desert Infantry. This was on a basic card type setup, but once again, I've always said this about these basic carded figures. This was anything but basic. I mean, some of these figures had and possessed as much accessories as a box figure would have, or even a carded figure would have. And this was another way of Hasbro basically really trying to, what's the word I'm looking for, cater to another demographic where everybody couldn't afford the $40 and $50 G.I. Joes that were coming out during this time period. And that was the really cool thing that Hasbro did, was to make a less expensive assortment of G.I. Joes that the consumers could buy. A parent walking around a toy store with their kid would be more inclined to buy a figure that was probably $15 or $20 as opposed to a figure that was like $30 or $40 or even $50. So what you had here is the product of that. And it was excellent marketing on Hasbro's part, putting together an assortment of figures that didn't cost a lot. And as you can see, they cut some corners. This is a lot of molded plastic here for his uniform. And on top of that, though, it looked really cool. Let's bring this guy in a little bit. Let's get him a little closer here down. And beautifully done. See, you get a beautiful helmet that's been painted with camouflage, detail designed. But at the same time, it didn't have a cloth covering over it, a camo cloth covering for it. They left that out. Beautiful head sculpt. He still had his gung-ho grip hands. Beautiful M16. He had cloth pants, though, camouflage pants, boots. You can see he had some smoke grenades here. His knife sheath and his knife right here. And for the most part, that's what you had with this figure. Basic, and yet super cool. This particular Army Desert Infantry G.I. Joe, he didn't stay out long on the market. Once again, he was under the radar and not really talked about. I purchased this figure back in 2003 from Walmart, and anything G.I. Joe 12-inch figure wise I saw at the stores that I went to, I would just simply purchase. That's how in love with G.I. Joe I was. So it didn't make it. Basic card figure, expensive figure, deluxe figure, G.I. Joe, it didn't make a difference. I would purchase it. So guys, what do you think of our G.I. Joe Army Desert Infantry? Are you looking for this guy? Do you have this guy? Once again, a super cool figure. I wanted to get a review out on him because I'm being told by some of my collector buddies that you don't do enough basic carded figure G.I. Joes videos. We know you have some less expensive G.I. Joes. We know you have the exclusive G.I. Joes. We want to see the ones that don't cost a lot. So I try to keep everybody happy, guys. And this is another beautiful example of a carded version figure. Like I said, I believe I paid $18, $19 for this particular figure back in 2003, and that was with tax. So he didn't cost much. He was easy on the wallet, and you got a fantastic figure on top of that. Let's turn this guy around. I'll turn him around without sitting back up here. Get you a blown out look here of our Army Desert Infantry. You can still find this guy. Here's the backstory on the G.I.Joe Army Desert Infantry, G.I.Joe. You can still find this guy. He's out there. You can find anything. Once again, let's get you a year. Yeah, that's 2003. You can find anything these days. There's Amazon, there's eBay, there's Cotswold Collectibles. I always will tell you to check Cotswold Collectibles first and foremost. I honestly couldn't give you a price point now. What I could tell you is, in my own personal opinion of, and here's another guy, a Navy security officer. We have that guy as well. My personal opinion, I wouldn't go any higher than $30 for this guy, unless you absolutely, positively have to have this guy. I wouldn't go any higher than $30. And he may cost more. Like I said, I would have to get back with you guys with more information on what this guy is going for on eBay and Amazon and Cotswold Collectibles. I have not seen him on Cotswold Collectibles. I was on their website earlier, I think yesterday, and I did not see this particular figure. That's why I said he wasn't out long. So that's another thing that you have to factor in. The rarity, the production run, how many of these guys were made during that time period. So a lot of that factors into what he costs today, what people are willing to sell him for today. But I wouldn't go any higher than $30. And if I absolutely had to have this guy and he was a little more than that, I would probably push it to $40. But I wouldn't go higher than that. And but once again, it's to each his own. Somebody can say, well, M.I.B, that's easy for you to say because you have him in your collection already. Well, we don't have him and we're looking for him. So, we may have to pay $50 or $60 for this guy. And if you feel that way, that's fine too. I understand it. I've been there. I've been in that situation where you have to make a decision. How badly do you want the guy? And me as being an M.I.B collector, if I could get this guy in this condition, and if I didn't have him in my collection, and somebody was offering him for about $50 or $60, I would really have to make a tough decision. How badly do I want him? Saying that, I would probably still try to haggle the price a little bit. But that's just me, guys. We will be bringing you more G.I. Joe videos. I don't want my G.I. Joe collectors to feel neglected. We just have so many things coming through our, in our museum now, and we're trying to get a little bit of everything, different tastes and different flavors to you guys, regarding action figures. But we don't want to forget about our old friend G.I. Joe. And this figure, like I said, it's beautifully made to be so basic. And that's why you could never go wrong with G.I. Joe. And I don't understand why Hasbro simply won't put out a another run of 12-inch G.I. Joe action figures, I mean, they would sell like hotcakes because the public is demanding it. You have consumers that are willing to pay good money for these G.I. Joes. Let's bring this guy down here. So I that's just, once again, I just don't understand that. I'm sure there's a reason behind it, but I don't understand it. I mean, I wish G.I. Joe would be out again in the toy stores, but it's wishful thinking, guys. It's wishful thinking. How do you feel about G.I. Joe not being in circulation anymore and not in toy stores? We want to hear all of that. Leave your comments in the comment section underneath this video. Do you miss G.I. Joe? Or do you have enough action figures out there now on the internet and all these different toy websites that keeps you pretty much content? We want to hear all of that. Leave your comments, guys. I miss personally, I miss G.I. Joe. That's just me. Guys, we want to thank you for hanging out with us today and checking out our G.I. Joe, cool G.I. Joe Army Desert Infantry soldier today. We got more fun in store for you, more surprises. We're not just stopping here. You know the routine, guys. God bless. And keep collecting.